Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. So this is another 4-hour follow-through video. For some reason, less people watch these videos when I think they're more valuable than the other videos I make, but whatever. So we're going to do by volume today. Top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go top 7. We're going to go 7 deep, 84 million volume, 24 hours. That's going to be the cutoff. I don't really want to talk about any of this other junk. Here we go. So first thing you'll notice on all of the USD charts, the USD pairs, they almost all look exactly like this. They all have what I'm going to call an Adam Eve. It's not symmetric. I know some of these have descending volume profile, some of them don't. This one does. Not every pattern is going to be perfect based on what you think the pattern should be. That's number one. Everything else I'm expecting the same. It makes it a little more difficult to figure out where the measured move is going to be if these aren't symmetric. I just take the conservative approach and take the measured move from the Eve, which is going to give you a lower upside than obviously measuring all the way down here and up from there. So this is the Adam Eve. Resistance, very clear, you know, it's support, resistance. Okay, we're going to have resistance or it's going to break through here and then it's going to keep going. This is the measured move. This is the fib extension. Same thing every time, Adam Eve. Boom, 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 knock it out. This is what it's going to look like. We'll come back to this in a few days and check it out. But I'm certainly expecting it to break up pretty heavily if the pattern completes. Next thing, B-bands. Why am I showing you this? They're unexciting right now. They're not tight. They're pretty wide. This almost tells me it's too soon for a move at the moment. We may see some like extended stalling at the, what was it? This 4130 area before moving higher, stalling, letting the B-bands tighten a little bit, you know, getting something like this where volatility is low for 12 candles, maybe half a day, you know, just nothing. And then you get a fake out and then it goes up. Certainly possible. You'll also notice this on all of the USD pairs. The 4-hour 5200 getting very close to crossing here. Another bull signal, just like it was down here. Okay. If you want to wait for the get ready, get set, go. Get ready is always breaking the 200. Okay. Get set is the cross, and go is the retest of the 200. You don't always get a retest of the 200, but similar to the Kijun bounce, if you miss the entry, keeping your bids at the 200 is usually a pretty good idea, depending on how fast the markets are moving. For Bitcoin, you know, the larger cap stuff, it's fine. For the small caps, because they just explode, it usually doesn't come back to the 200, at least not as often as it does with things like Bitcoin. If we look at the giant pitchfork that I posted over and over again a few times, it's on my TradingView profile if you want to check it out. But this also gives an upside target of 4,700-ish, you know, depending if we stay sideways here or not. It also shows us breaking this diag. Pretty interesting. Supporting here, roughly. support, breaking, okay. And resistance. So I'm expecting this to certainly be the next target up. And anytime you're looking at a chart with a pullback, the local high is always going to be the target. In this case, it's the all-time high, but that's obviously not always the case. That's just the ultimate target for the move. And then beyond that, things get a little more sketchy. Now, if we go to the 4-hour cloud, we're going to talk about some 4-hour clouds because people are asking me, I'm tweeting about it. It's good to talk about. There's a lot of things here to talk about. So immediately when I see this, I get excited. Why do I get excited? Well, there's a clear Kumo breakout here. Prices above the cloud for the first time since the dump. You know, since September, whatever. That signals price has recovered. It's okay to re-enter along. Okay, that's number one. The second thing you're waiting for is Kumo twist. So the cloud will twist. It will turn green. That's part of the 4 things on the checklist, right? Price above cloud, bullish TK cross, which currently is uncrossed and together. And you want the lagging span above cloud, above price. So it's a little early to shove all in right now, but I am beginning to build a position based on the Kumo breakout alone, okay? The other things I'm highlighting is targets. What am I looking for? Again, local highs, local highs, local highs. Any sort of sudden break, cliffing, anything like that. So, you know, there's tons of resistance on our way up. And you could arguably draw more lines of support resistance. You know, this one here is the Adam Eve support resistance line. Okay, so those are targets. Now let's talk about Kumo breakouts. Not all Kumo breakouts are created equally. On the 4 hour, there haven't been that many Kumo breakouts since 2015 actually. 4 hour from a bare cloud, even just from below a cloud, period. So in general, what you're going to see on these 4 hour clouds is you're going to see 4 hour Kumo breakouts. You're going to see either a pattern or a B-band squeeze, something that gives it impetus for the move to happen in the first place. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. Is it the Kumo breakout that's giving it momentum, or is it the chart pattern that's giving it momentum? The fact that both are talking to each other in my mind and saying, you know, that it's okay to move here, certainly some confluence in that realm. So looking at this 4 hour Kumo breakout, again, it's got a pattern. It's sort of sideways, but let's compare and contrast the other ones. This is less for me, more for you, as somebody who has some interest in cloud or doesn't care about cloud or is skeptical about cloud. So this was July, August range. Okay, we dipped below the 4 hour. It was really noisy. There was a triangle forming here, a giant one. Okay, and we broke down. And that was the daily cloud's edge-to-edge trade. So this was actually a break of the cloud on the daily. This was the other end of the daily cloud. So here we have a 4 hour Kumo breakout, not on you know, this part of the cloud, but the downward sloping part of the cloud. I'm gonna have to think of better ways to like categorize these, because I think once you start seeing the cloud fractals, it'll make even more sense as I'm like parsing through these. Anyway, so through the downslope, whatever, but again, there's clearly a pattern here. It's the inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder, and we get a move upward, okay? And here's what that looked like at the time, and we were talking about that at the time. Anybody on Twitter had talked about it in articles. I know I did. The volume profile wasn't there. Again, these patterns aren't always going to look perfect every time. The more perfect they look, the more ideal conditions, the higher the probability of completion, no doubt. But just because pieces do not look like ideal conditions, don't just, you know, negate it completely, because it's certainly possible that it's crypto. Things get weird. Okay, this is not Forex. This is crypto. So here's another Kumo breakout on the 4 hour. What happened here? Well, this one sort of edge-to-edged itself. It's another type of 4 hour Kumo breakout. So this for me is always the cleanest trade as far as the risk reward in general. On aggregate, edge-to-edge trades are extremely highly probable. So risk for this is almost nothing, because I just expect it to always go through the cloud in general, especially if it's an on-trend edge-to-edge. So trend obviously has been bullish for years. It matches the trend. Okay, it's perfectly reasonable that we go up here. The other thing that was happening is there was a very clear W bottom propelling this forward. And again, I'm showing you ledges on this, and you can see we sort of fooled around with all these resistances until we finally made a new all-time high, and then we actually retested this. But this is the picture that I'm looking for in the current, you know, target area. Just a noisy mess, like towards the all-time high zone, right? So again, I was saying W, right? And what else was here was also a bull div. So when you get a bull div with a W bottom, that's ideal. Okay, again, confluence. You're looking for as much evidence as possible to convince yourself that this is a good trade. The risk reward here is high. The math from the left side of the trade is telling me that we're going to move on the right side of the trade, right side of the chart, in the direction that I expect it to move. Okay, so bull div W, Kumo breakout. That just propelled this sucker all the way up from there. So here is another type of Kumo breakout. We kind of just went sideways, and the thing about this one, when I saw this, I'm thinking to myself, this is a Kumo breakout on no volume. Okay, This was this is all China garbage on this index. So volume here is going to look like nothing because all this was fake anyway. But volume was nothing. Okay, this was post PVOC. People are getting back to work or whatever. You know, January. The dust is settling. Okay, sideways. Now you'll learn if you watch other cloud videos that you want a Kumo breakout on volume. That's what everyone's going to say. But I'm going to disagree with that for a few reasons. And this is one of them, one example of that, okay? This was on no volume. This was just sideways. This is just, you know, we're just moving through the cloud. We're just going to see what happens. We'll just take it from here. I didn't go long here because of that. Not in size anyway. But I saw it happening. One of the other things that was happening was this B-band squeeze, okay? And again, when I'm talking about 4-hour Kumo breakouts, what are we looking for? We're looking for patterns, divs, B-band squeezes. That's pretty much it, okay? And here we got that B-band squeeze with the Kumo breakout. There was no volume. I don't know what the R&R technically would have been on this, risk reward, but overall it's above the cloud. All systems are go. And on this first candle, that first B-band break, again, that's another confluence factor, even though B-bands can break in the opposite direction first before they go the direction they intend. That's part of the Kumo breakout, you know, index, if you will. Now here was a Kumo breakout that occurred. This is August. This is post Bitfinex hack. These were pretty noisy. This is what the blue line represents. Just sideways. You know, we went down, we went sideways, went up, sideways, up. Okay, really hard to trade that unless you just buy and hold, which is what most people did, I think. So this is one exception to the 4-hour Kumo thing. That's hard to categorize. You know, there's nothing going on here. It's just recovery from market black swan, basically. And again, these ledges or points on triangles are all support resist targets for recovery to previous highs. So here is the months-long ascending triangle. And you can see we actually had several 4-hour Kumo breakouts. Okay, so let's talk about those. The final Kumo breakout occurred also on no volume. What I do know happened on the daily B-bands is there was a fake out breakout here. So this is another one of those weird corner cases where there were greater things at play than the 4-hour. You know, the daily B-bands, the chart pattern on the daily, the ascending triangle specifically, that was kind of moving everything. Everything else just sat by the wayside. There were other Kumo breakouts here that could have went somewhere that didn't, and you can certainly just, you know, build your position. If you were just building position here and not worrying about this, assuming we were going up because of the ascending triangle, you're still fine. You know, you're in at 450 or whatever. Okay, here is another one of those 4 hours. This kind of occurred on sideways as well. Again, hard to categorize this one specifically too. Not really much going on, just up and down. But you can see after the breakout happened, you know, ledge, 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 and we kind of ranged in these zones for a little while. That was the top of the ascending triangle. This is another 4-hour breakout in the triangle, and again, edge to edge sort of fueled this. There was a bear flag that actually broke up that fueled this. Definitely descending volume. And again, you're looking for ledges, you're looking for just obvious support resist targets. This clearly a ledge, you know, we broke far down directly from that. So you expect that to be heavy resistance on the way up. And this was the ascending triangle top again. That's not too important there. And then this was the earliest of the 4-hour Kumo breakouts. Again, edge to edge trade. Even if the edge to edge trade doesn't pan out in the cloud, you can expect it with reasonable certainty that it will reach that target eventually. You know, in the same trade, definitely. So you can see we had the Kumo breakout, or the edge-to-edge trade, Kijun bounce, and then we consolidated right on that target. Okay, that was the 50% from here to here, most likely. So those are all the 4-hour Kumo breakouts since 2015. That's it. That's why this one right now is so important as far as a long entry signal. You know, there's what, 5, 6, 7 4-hour breakouts there since like 2 years. Again, that's why I'm excited. That's why I'm building here. I'm watching this. Watch for these cloud signals to flip to build the position even further. One last thing on this edge from the ascending triangle, you can see there was a B-band break here as well. It was tighter on the daily, I think, but overall, again, something is tending to fuel these trades that are confluent with cloud signals that we talk about, edge to edge, Kumo breakout, yada yada. Today's video again sponsored by Whale Calls. Whale Calls, subscribe to them for the OKCoin futures liquidations, as you can see here. All these coming in. Now, one thing you can do to use this as a trader to get your attention to something, click on these 3 dots on the profile, turn on mobile notifications. Now, a lot of YouTubers and Instagram people or whatever want you to do this to get views on their pages, which really serves no purpose for you unless you want to see their stuff all the time. This can help you make money because when Whale Calls starts rolling tweets and you're getting SMS messages, basically notifications, that to me and many traders says, hey, look at the chart, something's going on. You know, based on your proximity to this information, you can make actionable decisions. Let's move on to Ethereum, USD. Again, we're seeing Adam Eve 5200. Talked about all this already. It's the same thing over and over in all these USD pairs, which is good. I assume they're going to move together. We'll see what happens. And it's interesting because Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, all the charts look the same. Are they all going to move together? We'll see. Again, 5200, close to crossing, super bullish. We go to the B-bands, not too much to say. Again, like Bitcoin, this may need a little more time to squeeze. Get that Adam Eve resistance, just, you know, flirting with that resistance there. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I don't know. And then boom, we go up, and in this case, what, $100, something like that. Something else interesting with ETH is there's clearly some inverted head and shoulder fractals here. Again, the volume doesn't quite match, but there's clearly descending volume from the first stab down. So overall, again, that says we've tried to go lower, failed. Volume is decreasing. There's less confidence that we can go lower based on that. Just psychologically, that's what I'm thinking. So here's that Adam Eve measured move, $60, okay? That's the measured move. 2618 is essentially back to all-time highs. And I won't run through all the... No, I think we will. We'll run through a few of the ETH 4-hour Kumo breakouts because there's actually less than Bitcoin, just because ETH has been around for less time. But anyway, so again, this actually looks better than the Bitcoin 4-hour Kumo breakout because you're getting the breakout with the bullish Kumo. The lagging span isn't exactly above price, above cloud. One other thing you want to look at when you see a Kumo breakout, where is the Kijun? The closer the Kijun is to price, that means the closer mean is to price, okay? If mean is far away from price when it breaks out, it's probably going to retest the mean before it goes higher. It may break out and then come back and then break out. We see that a lot. And there's an example of that I'll show you. But you really have to be careful. It's like the TK disequilibrium principle in general. Anytime price is really far away from the Kijun, it's going to want to come back and test that frequently before it goes any higher. Not every time, but most of the time. So here's one of those examples, 4-hour again, ETHUSD. Again, what am I talking about with Kumo breakouts? There's some impetus to get us somewhere on these 4-hour Kumo breakouts. In this case, very clear bull flag pennant, whatever you want to call it. I was building a position here on spot, and I just held it anyway, even though it broke down. You can see where it broke down to was the Kijun again. So when this was breaking out, it was actually really far away from the Kijun. So it broke out, it did whatever it did. It was actually inverted head and shoulders here as well, and then it went back up. But the target remained, and this was kind of the high that got put in before turning down. So this was the target for this was $30 off the ultimate high at this point, all-time high, which was also over here. But the point is, again, there's something here on the Kumo breakout before the Kumo breakout telling you there's a move here, something's going to happen. If it keeps breaking out of the cloud, watch it, build a position. Here's a Kumo breakout that's completely voodoo to me. I haven't figured out a super great way to explain why this happens, but this happened essentially on the Kumo twist, which is a place of zero support and resistance. It also occurred, again, you're getting a B-band squeeze. There's always an impetus for these moves almost every time. So here's another move, again, ascending triangle that has a strong upward bias. This is the B band plus Kumo breakout, okay? So you would have been in at 45 or something and holding to 400. Here's ETH BTC. These BTC pairs look a little different, but again, you're also seeing 4-hour Kumo breakout. Just a massive month-over-month descending volume. I don't know what that's about, if less people are trading this pair or what, but that's something to certainly pay attention to. If we get a spike with volume and price in either direction, that may set a new trend. You can see here we've kind of zeroed out as far as what the cloud is telling me, just kind of, meandering sideways. 5200, interestingly enough, hasn't crossed. Maybe it has. It's hard to tell there. I don't think it's fully crossed, but again, another signal to watch for confluence for long entry. Now you may see the, so we've had the get ready. We haven't had the get set yet, which is the 5200 cross, and then the go is the retest. Now obviously it doesn't work out every time. It didn't work out here, right? Get ready, you might get multiple get readies, right? Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get set, go, and it fails. That can happen. So here you're having, again, get ready, no get set yet. Okay, so definitely watch for that if you're trading that pair. On to Litecoin, the BTC pair, there's nothing more I can say other than it's in a very large flag pennant thing, which has a strong bullish bias. So it should go higher. Nothing much else to say with the pair. For USD, again, Adam Eve, measured move to 72, and 5200 on the 4 hours, getting close to crossing. Same thing that we've been talking about with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bcash looks nothing like any of the other charts. You can see there's no 5200 in sight. There is just, support falling. My bias is showing Bcash is trash, B trash, whatever. I expect this to go lower. The only reason it's not is because very few people have it. Very few people are trading it. Very few people know how to collect it. Very few people care about it. This is really just miners. It's a miner coin, essentially. Miners are hoarding it. Cloud, again, super bearish. There is a disequilibrium as far as, this might bounce at this level. It's certainly resistance, support, strong support here. If it breaks, expect it to go lower. I don't expect it to just shoot up anytime soon. Ethereum Classic USD, a chart I don't think I've ever looked at it actually. Somebody pointed it to my attention. So again, you're getting Adam Eve, edge to edge situation with measured move being 1477. And anytime I get just nice wicks on a zone, it's good to fib that out. You can see the cloud is helping you out as well. It's telling you this ledge is a target beyond this edge-to-edge target. I almost expect it to sort of reach here and fizzle out a little bit, let the cloud flip bullish before continuing further. But we'll see. ETH BTC, you're getting a massive bull div here, more apparent on the daily. So definitely a reversal signal. You're getting TK cross below the cloud, suggesting shorts close their trades or people selling should cease. And you're getting cloud resistance here. It's always interesting how this looks. It draws this 30 periods ahead of time, yet price respects it. I don't know how that happens. Dynamic support resistance, man, I don't know. So you're seeing multiple tests and rejections here for the edge-to-edge, but certainly something to watch. I don't expect this to go much lower based on the div, but it's ETH, so ETC, so who knows. Zcash, last one, 5200 again, just happening now on the 4 hour. ZEC really loves its 5200 4 hour crosses, just boom, boom. Just interesting. Here's the 4 hour cloud, ZEC BTC. And again, you're getting a Kumo breakout on the cloud for the first time since essentially the down trend. You did have some breakouts here that never went anywhere. Oh, forgot about Ripple. I almost forgot about Dre. So Ripple, everyone hates Ripple, I understand. I don't love Ripple. I think it's long-term probably not going to go anywhere, but in the immediate term, banks love it. It's spreading like the flu all over the world. You're getting a 4 hour B-band break here. some nice pivot targets. Again, obviously, it's just local highs, right? Local high, and then the daily edge is like, it's higher than 8 and 9,000 even. You know, it's like 15K, something like that, as far as the target's concerned. 4 hour, 5,200, hasn't crossed yet, but it will. I believe it will. Another confluence factor. All right, that's all I have for today. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter, YouTube, Telegram. Comment below. Donate. Thank you for all the donators the past year plus, and happy trading.